Good morning, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to my morning news report right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. Take a look at these two photos right here. September 11, 18th anniversary of 9/11. 18th anniversary of September 11 attacks to be marked by remembrance ceremony at WTC site, World Trade Center site. New York City and millions around the country will commemorate 9/11 with more full ceremonies, volunteering appeals to never forget, and raising attention to the terror attacks extended toll on first responders. A crowd of victims' relatives is expected at Ground Zero in Lower Manhattan today, while President Donald Trump is scheduled to join an observance at the Pentagon. Vice President Mike Pence is to speak at the third attack site near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. The events of that terrible day and the weeks, months, and years that followed are never forgotten, nor are the memories of those killed by terrorists in hijacked planes at the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and a field in Pennsylvania. Additionally, we remember all those who have died from 9/11 related illnesses from their horrific work at Ground Zero and those who suffer today. The anniversary ceremony site on remembering the nearly 3,000 people killed in the attacks on September 11, 2001. All those victims' names are read aloud at Ground Zero. Ceremonies where moments of silence and tolling bells mark the moments when the aircraft crashed and the Trade Center Twin Towers fell. September 11th still shapes American policy, politics, and everyday experience in places from airports to office buildings, even if it's less of a constant presence in the public consequences after 18 years. The 9/11 ceremonies are now family relentless, centered on reading the names of the dead, but each year at Ground Zero, victims' relatives infuse the ceremony with personal messages of remembrance, inspiration, and concerns. Beginning today, there will be a moment of silence at all public schools in New York City to mark the 9/11 anniversary under a new bill signed into law. Given that most students today were born after the attacks, the bill sponsors hope that by pausing to reflect further, future generations will never forget. The Saruth family from San Diego took their daughters to the memorial Tuesday to teach them about 9/11. 18th anniversary of 9/11 events at the World Trade Center. Let's take a look at that schedule. And here is a look at that schedule. The program will begin at 8:39 a.m. and program concludes at 12:30 p.m. A tribute in light will return for one night as a tribute to all those that were killed on 9/11. The lights are located at West and Morse Streets in Lower Manhattan. The lights will begin at sunset on September 11 and will fade away at dawn on September 12. There is no formal program. The lights are best viewed when it is completely dark. And there are some events around here in New Hampshire, where to commemorate 9/11 in New Hampshire. Unveiling of 9/11 Salem Memorial Monument. Salem announced plans to commemorate 9/11 by unveiling its new memorial monument at Veterans Common. Construction began in May, and the memorial is now ready for September 11. The public is invited to attend the unveiling at 6 p.m. this evening. Portsmouth. Portsmouth will hold its annual remembrance ceremony outside police headquarters at 3 Jenkins Avenue. The ceremony begins at 8:46 a.m., the time the first plane struck the World Trade Center. Among the almost 3,000 people who died in the events was Portsmouth resident Tom McGinnis, American Airlines co-pilot who was flying Flight 11, the first plane to hit the towers. McGinnis and other victims will be honored. Speakers include Fire Chief and Police Chief, who was at Ground Zero hours after the attacks. Remember to remember September 11th. The Cathedral of Pines and Ridge will honor the victims of 9/11, the Boston Marathon bombing, the Orlando nightclub shooting, and the New York City truck attack. Join the Reverend in the reading of the victims' names so they are always remembered. The reading is scheduled for 8:45 a.m. to noon at 10 Hill Road. Wright Museum. The Wright Museum of World War II in Wolfboro will hold a will hold a ceremony from noon to 1 p.m. Bob and Linda have run the event since the original organizer, Jeff, died about 10 years ago. The event invited local first responders to tell their stories about the days of the attack. The museum is located at 77 Center Street. State Veterans Ceremony. State Veterans Ceremony has held taps every night since Memorial Day and will close the season by honoring the 9/11 victims, first responders, and veterans at 7 p.m. The ceremony is located at 110 Daniel Webster Highway in Bosquen. And also, the Deerfield Fire and Rescue will be sounding their sirens today at 10:28 a.m. to mark the remembrance of 9/11. That does it for my news report right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another news report. And I'll have a special broadcast later on this evening. Good night, everyone, and bye.